gods! Jesus! How long have you been there? Hey, you're back! Where have you been?
Where have I been?
Yes?
Where have I been? Where have I been?
Yes, damn you!
Where have I been?
Oh, for goodness sake.
You know bloody well where I have been.
No, I don't think so.
I have been in the hospital and you haven't visited me once.
Of course I have. Twice. Once.
No.
Oh, right. I was busy, sorry, mate. Anyway, what were you doing in the hospital?
You shot me with a crossbow.
Oh, put yourself together, man. It was only a flesh wound. Here, have some meat.
Ah, now we are talking.
So, friends again?
Yes, friends until this one comes to an end. Keep them coming.
Alright. Now let's go back to work. Hello friends, my name is Thorstein and today I'm going to talk about the Druids and the Moon. Now this might be a little bit boring, but you will find a lot of useful information. So let's get started. The Druids are still a fascinating subject, and the unknown still brings mystery, and what is mysterious and almost mystical nowadays gives us a certain delight in knowing that beyond our dull lives in a civilized world there is still magic out there somewhere. It's still extremely hard to understand what the Druids were up to. We know they study a variety of arts for 20 years, maybe more, but left no written records of their doings. Fortunately and unfortunately, we have written Roman sources describing the religious, intellectual and social functions of the Druids within their communities. But these are the points of view from a society with a different cultural, historical and traditional background, seeing from afar something they had never come in contact with, ancestral practices so deeply carved upon the Celtic tribes, impossible for outsiders to fully understand the true essence of Druidism. Even so, during Caius Julius Caesar's wars on Gaul, the very same who played such an important role in the transformation of the Roman Republic into the Roman Empire, we have really interesting accounts about the Druids, especially due to Caesar's friendship with the Viciacus of the Audui. Of course, a Romanized name for a person we may never know his true name. Now, there might be a certain confusion here because there was another Viciacus during Caesar's time, and he was also a Gaulish king to be more precise. But we know this Caesar's friend was a Druid, not because of Caesar himself, but because of Marcus Tullius Cicero, a Roman politician who had a very peculiar career before becoming an active figure in the political network of Rome. Cicero had been an augur, a priest whose purpose was to interpreting the will of the gods by studying the flight of birds. So Cicero met this Viciacus in Rome and had long debates with him because they were colleagues of some sort and both argued about the art of divination. This is one of the most important sources we have about Druidism. However, as you might have guessed, it's only a tiny portion of what Druidism is and was. We are talking about Druidism practiced in Gaul, from a certain Celtic group within a Celtic group. And obviously other Druids did things differently, with certain similarities, but we can't possibly say that all Druids were the same everywhere. Also, these are written Roman sources with that beautiful Roman political touch of the Roman Republic. But the question is, what concrete knowledge did the Celts and the Druids add on the stars, and how did they apply such knowledge on their societies? In truth, we are uncertain, but we have a variety of studies which gives us a glimpse of such a knowledge, which seems with each passing year we come to the conclusion that these societies knew much more than we realized the year before and the year before that. We can count on the yearly celebrations, harvesting cycles, equinoxes and solstices. We can count on the traditional folklore written by Irish priests, and of course we can count on the studies made by archaeologists and astronomers, for instance, about the orientations of the monuments of antiquity. However, this last one, unlike most people think, such megalithic monuments are not Celtic. They were raised during the Neolithic, so we are talking about roughly 5,000 to 4,000 years before the Celts. Of course, the chronology differs a lot from place to place. Still, we know the Druids used such monuments during the Iron Age, but did they really knew what was it all about? Were they really using such monuments for the astronomical purposes they had been built so long ago? It's possible that the Druids knew how to use such monuments. Oral tradition since immemorial times survived till nowadays, even though with a lot of changes along the way. But we know the knowledge of the Druids was passed along from generation to generation through the oral tradition, of course in the attempt to keep the secrets of their wisdom, and they did a damn good job because we are still trying to crack this business. And such a tradition partly survived in the Irish astronomical treatises of the Middle Ages written in Latin, the very same knowledge the Christians used to continue the studies on the stars. But the key to this knowledge seems to be in the moon. According to the Roman sources, the knowledge about the moon and the observation of its phases was one of the most important subjects for the Druids. The complexity of the knowledge of the moon cycles is something our modern culture lost, at least the peculiarities of this knowledge. First, it must be noted that there are two cycles in the motions and appearances of the moon. The first and best known is that of its phases, which are repeated every 29.5 days approximately. Secondly is the position of the moon on the horizon. In fact, if we look at what point of the horizon in which the moon appears, we will see that for about 27.5 days the moon travels in an arc in the horizon, in a round journey between its north and south ends. It is important to note that since both cycles are different, the moon does not always live in the same phase by the same side of the horizon. Now, as the lunar orbit is inclined to that of the Earth for about 5 degrees, the points of the horizon where the moon appears on the horizon does not coincide with the appearances of the sun across the sky. In addition, the moon appearances are not static, and then there are a variety of complex informations of the moon cycles, and which it would make my statement too long and complex. What I mean with this is that the moon cycles are much more complex, and we need to be precise in our observations of the moon because the positions are never the same each year. We had to observe the real cycle of the moon for at least 18 to 19 years until the whole cycle comes to an end and starts again. 18 to 19 years is very close to the 20-year study of the Druids. Coincidence? Caesar himself left us an account that it took a novice in Druidry 19 years of preparations to become a Druid, which coincide with the complete observation of one moon cycle. So the Druids had to have a real understanding of the natural world. According to Caesar and also Gaius Plinius, a Roman philosopher and a sort of naturalist of the Roman Empire, the Druids only required to observe the moon in order to understand the stars and the position of the Earth in relation with the stars. It's interesting to see that the megalithic monuments are not only aligned to be possible to observe the solstices, but some monuments are actually aligned with certain stars, the stars which are much more visible to the human eye without requiring a tool to enhance the celestial dome. And these monuments I'm talking about were not only for initiation rites, but also funerary monuments, monuments with a variety of functions in prehistoric societies. And as I have said, these monuments are much older than the Celts, so it's a wonder the knowledge these people had and how this knowledge survived for thousands of years until the Iron Age, and the Druids made good use of such a knowledge. This may be one of the reasons the moon has played such an important role in the pre-Christian societies, and why there were so many deities related with the moon. For instance, since I have talked about the Romans, we start to see in the Roman funerary stelae, stone slabs, a representation of the crescent moon, at the same time with the propagation of Celtic tongues and certain costumes and traditions mixed with local traditions. Alright friends, thank you so much for watching, and I know this is probably a boring subject, but well, Mr. Thorstein is back and all is well. So once again, thank you so much for watching. All the links to my social media are down below at the description, and see you on the next video, and as always, tack för idag.
Hey, did you miss me? Yes, I've been in the hospital and this bloody bastard never paid me a visit. But I will plot my revenge. Oh yes, I will.